Alright guys, TouchGripper here again today. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Friday. Today I wanted to talk about Chicago, Huntsmen and MBOZE has been confirmed onto the team now. So we're going to talk about that in coming minutes. Firstly, just wanted to mention that a couple of comments yesterday from people saying they weren't notified about yesterday's video. YouTube removed a lot of people subscribed to my channel yesterday, supposedly inactive accounts. That may have been one of you though, because YouTube isn't always perfect on these things. So if that is one of you, check down in below the video if you are still subscribed. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And also the notification bell can be an important thing, because as I say, YouTube isn't perfect. Sometimes the videos just won't appear in your sub boxes. So if you want to make sure you're notified when every single video is uploaded, the notification bell is your go-to. So like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always. Let's talk about Money B MBOZE today, because he is a guy who has divided the community for years in their opinion. There's a lot of people who really like MBOZE, and I'm sure there's some of you guys in the comment section below, and there's a lot of people that think he's completely swindled his way onto this team. I think there are both sides to the argument, and I don't think it's as clear-cut as some people would like to believe, but we'll go into that in coming minutes here. So yeah, as I said, I guess we'll just hop into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with BOZE, and I will share some clips from this video going on in the background in the coming minutes, is Hector, of course, is the guy behind the Huntsmen. For years, MBOZE has been on OpTic Gaming, and he has connections with a lot of the guys that have ended up on this Huntsman squad, right? The likes of Scump especially, who he's played with before, and I think Formal maybe he hasn't played with, but at least he has definite connections to, given when Formal came onto the team back in the Advanced Warfare days. I think BOZE and that was still around the OpTic house and all of this kind of stuff. Definitely there's a lot of connections between MBOZE and those guys on the team. So Marcus Blanks, that's why he's called. BOZE is his name, so he has BOZE as his Twitter handle, but MBOZE is his Twitter name, so I think I'm just going to still call him MBOZE, because that's typically been his name in Call of Duty. But he's been around a very long time. He talks about in this video, and maybe I'll share this little clip, and if the music in the background doesn't copyright it. But anyway, effectively he says he was playing Call of Duty for like 5-6 years, then he took a break in like 2014 to focus on content, he says. Which is kind of funny, I don't know, kind of ironic. If you guys know things about BOZE, you'll know that his content game isn't exactly top tier. He doesn't produce as much, he doesn't seem to have the work ethic as some of the other guys that have been on OpTic as well. The likes of Scump, for example, who simultaneously being one of the very best pro players in the world, still uploading very regularly to YouTube. Doesn't do it as much nowadays, but still, that was a thing that Scump was doing back in the day as he was building his brand to be one of the biggest guys in the world. And BOZE probably to some degree has missed an opportunity and missed a trick there, right? When he had the opportunity with the big name of OpTic behind him, when he, put competing on the back burner. And as he says in this video, the reason why he put competing on the back burner was because, other team issues. He couldn't be on multiple teams at once, the old OpTic Nation situation. We'll have a look through some of his results here in a second, but given he says that, he still really hasn't stepped up the content game as you could have expected someone in a similar position to do. He talks about streaming a couple of years ago, but maybe it wasn't really for him. Like, he probably could be a much bigger name now in the streaming and content world than he is, right? And maybe this is Hector giving him a last chance. Who really knows? Whether he deserves it, whether he's earned it, of course that's up for debate, right? So BOZE is going to join as a substitute. This is a key thing to know. He's not on the team as an analyst or as a content creator like we imagine Maniac is over at the Mutineers. He's actually a substitute on the team. So the main squad, Scump, Formal, of course, Gunless, Envoy and Arcetes, with General on the bench, joined by MBOZE, and Tupac Thuglord is their S&D analyst. So it's very interesting to see this dynamic come into play. MBOZE actually being a substitute for the squad, meaning he may well be substituted into play. So it's quite an interesting dynamic. MBOZE, of course, does have a huge amount of following and backing behind him, and he now has this clothing brand we'll talk about in a second, which does give him some influence in terms of being a substitute, in terms of, pushing the brand in that sense. He's obviously somewhat of a valuable asset, and more of a valuable asset than you would have from a player that was brand new and maybe more talented than MBOZE and has been, a newer guy to the scene, but doesn't quite have the backing in the same way these guys do. So there's obviously an argument that says, look, this is friendship, this is MBOZE getting another chance, and Hector has given him another shot once again, and he's just leeching off Hector. I can see that for sure. At the same time, you've got to give Hector Rodriguez Hex some credit, right? He's one of the hardest working guys in the community. He's been around for so long. He's built Call of Duty, not necessarily just him, right? But he's a very crucial factor in building Call of Duty esports and OpTic gaming to what it has become today, of course, having moved on from OpTic with the whole situation that we've discussed over 2019, really. Now on the Chicago Huntsmen under NRG, and still giving BOZE this opportunity. clearly he sees something in MBOZE that he can be a valuable asset, whether it is in terms of, you know, producing content on the side, and maybe this really will kick MBOZE into action, but, you know, if he hasn't been kicked into action really over the last several years, it's difficult to say that that's going to happen today with the whole the Huntsmen situation. But who knows? He has his clothing brand behind him. He can be a decent brand ambassador for the Huntsmen, and more of a brand ambassador than if you pick up some guy with 10k Twitter followers but could potentially be a better player. Because at the end of the day, it's pretty damn unlikely you're going to make a substitute change anyway, right? You look at the likes of Exotic, Jet Li, those guys that haven't been picked up, the likes of Nagafin, you can see, why is MBOZE getting picked up over these guys? What I imagine is a lot of those guys had offers from pro teams, but they decided that, okay, the 50k salary with very little opportunity to actually play, probably not going to get subbed in, there's no academy team for us to play on, just sitting on the bench of 50k a year, that's not really going to be worth it when we can get a salary from an amateur team, also attend amateur events, and really make our names that way, and probably even make more money, and also the stock that you will drop by not being on a professional team for that amount of time, or at least not playing in the competitive scene, your stock will drop quite significantly if you are the likes of an Exotic. So it makes sense why those guys would turn down offers like this, and MBOZE kind of makes sense as this kind of guy to fill in the gap. So I don't completely hate the decision, to be honest. Like, some people are going pretty mental over this, which I understand to a degree, because it feels like some people who have worked hard are missing out here, and I can see that side of the argument. However, MBOZE is known as a fairly competent search and destroy player, and we talked about yesterday, if you haven't seen yesterday's video, I'll leave a link down below, on really big news for Call of Duty, that tournaments are going to be back for the competitive scene this year. But MBOZE could potentially be a reasonable search and destroy substitute. It has to be said, right? MBOZE has typically been a pretty damn good search and destroy player. He's done quite well in tournaments this year so far in search and destroy. And it's talked about how you can have this season mid-match substitutions. Let's say we get 3 or 4 months into the season. Dallas Empire are the best team in the game. Chicago Huntsmen are a close second. But, you know, Dallas Empire have always got the better of the Huntsmen in search and destroy, for example. What if one map in a series you decide to swap out Envoy for both? He's a bit of a wild card. He's known to play search and destroy, a little bit of an interesting player in terms of the way he plays it. It tends to be with MBOZE, either he'll go off in a map or he'll just play really badly. But if you get the good MBOZE for that one search and destroy map, he's a really aggressive player. He'll take like really weird rush routes and he'll try and make plays. He's a bit of a playmaker. So let's say, for example, the best possible S&D team that Chicago Huntsmen could put together is just their main 5. But if you need a wild card, you need to switch something up, you get MBOZE in for a map, and potentially you give yourselves more of a winning chance if the other team really knows your tendencies. And MBOZE is a guy that can genuinely probably be quite valuable in that aspect, right? And he can probably, you know, give you a wild card opportunity to win if you need it against a team that, let's say, always gets the better of you in a search and destroy, and then sub him back out for the respawns. That's a legitimate possibility that Hector may be considering here. And no, I don't think MBOZE is a completely awful player. He definitely has his moments, but in respawn, I wouldn't really give him the benefit of the doubt, right? During his playing days, it wasn't exactly spectacular. So, as I was saying, this is the team, right, with Marcus Blanks actually as a substitute, Two-Back Thuglord as their analyst, so these are the other guys, and Sender, of course, as their head coach. And as I was going to say, yeah, so one of my favourites, to be honest, the Rich and Lonely, store that he now has. He's clearly launched some sort of business acumen behind him, has MBOZE. That's a relatively valuable asset as well, if you're thinking about getting an individual on your team. So, this is results across his career. Just wanted to go through it. From the Black Ops 2, the Ghost days, won a couple of tournaments. This OpTic Nation team with Killer Miracles and Ricky, of course. Then these results in Advanced Warfare, slightly into Black Ops 3. If you guys remember this Team Caliber team that he had to substitute in for Goonja, because Goonja couldn't make it to that event due to some visa issues. So we had to substitute in. They didn't quite qualify. They lost to King Pappy, who were eventually picked up by 100 Thieves. And, you know, there's a lot of memes going around this, like this on Reddit. Hector, you may pick any substitute you want, choose wildly. I've been grinding for years, I'm cracked, I'm a top prospect. I'll tweet about grinding and disappear for a year, and MBOZE gets the money. And I can see why people see it in this light. I just don't think it's quite that simple, because some individuals that are great players may have turned down offers like this, and then there's some individuals that, you know, who knows if they're actually going to get used instead of MBOZE anyway, and MBOZE does bring this brand attribute to a squad that other people maybe do not not have, right? And at the end of the day, if you're going to trust Hector and his decision making, you have to say, well, he's chosen BOZE year after year after year, clearly thinks he is a valuable attribute, valuable asset in some sense. You have to step back a little bit and say, you know, who actually is making the correct decision making here? If I think BOZE is an incredibly bad pickup, then, you know, what are my thought process on Hector? Because he's chosen BOZE again and again and again. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts here. And as some of these comments show on Reddit, right, it's weird to see a guy who doesn't really try anymore keep getting rewarded. It's annoying to see someone get a good salary for doing literally nothing. And I understand that, right? But BOZE, to some degree, back in the day, with his connections through OpTic Gaming, has built himself into a brand. Like, let's have a look at his Twitter followers here. Like, he has 683,000 followers. Like, that is a lot of influence that MBOZE has, and the potential for him to promote the brand of the Chicago Huntsmen as well. The kind of influence that a guy who may be a top prospect, maybe a better player than MBOZE, but probably isn't going to play the game anyway, because who would you substitute Ian out for with that incredibly, you know, good squad that Chicago Huntsmen have? You know, what really is the more valuable asset in that sense, right? And I can understand the frustration here, but at the end of the day, I do feel like MBOZE really isn't that bad of a pickup for a guy that probably isn't going to play the game anyway, and at least does have some brand factor to him. But yeah, I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. I'll finish the video with a couple of clips from that video that we looked through at the start, and yeah, well, there was some very interesting and some pretty hot takes, to be honest, on the Reddit here, and I wonder which side of the fence you guys fall on. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Marcus Blanks. Many of you guys may know me as MBOZE. I'm from Bayonne, New Jersey. I've been playing Call of Duty professionally for about 5-6 years, but around 2014, 2015, I took a little bit of a break, which caused me to go into a bigger break. I was focusing on content and doing other things like sponsorships and just growing my brand. All right, so here's how I ended up on the Huntsmen. So honestly, I was big on not like, I want it to be good to where people will come and ask me. I hate like reaching out and just like, yo, let me get on this team, bro. I don't really do that. Like, that's just not who I am. So I saw a whole bunch of things going down with Dallas Empire, and I was like, you know what, let me just try to like start tweeting and interacting and see if I can wiggle my way in. And like, it was going good. Like, people were like, yo, I really want BOZE picked up. They started like over 1,500 tags. Like, it was crazy. Like, to where the point where like no one could, it was so many people to the point where you can't ignore it. You gotta at least be like, all right, we'll hit you up if we need you. So like, I wasn't really in talks with them, but then I got the opportunity for the Huntsmen. Obviously, you know, I've been knowing Seth for a lot of people for a minute. I've been doing my thing. I think I'm a good asset. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was between Dallas Empire, but like, I was trying to get my way on there, but I think the Huntsmen was a better opportunity. My friends, it's still family. So yeah, I think this was the best opportunity for me. So yeah, if you've been supporting me, my supporters, you guys know the vibes. You guys know how I get down. I grind. I could do many things. I'm a good asset, you know what I'm saying? I could play Call of Duty, but also I could bring you guys content. I could put a smile on your face. My personality's never changed. I've been the same person since 6050. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be a good year. I got different resources, better resources. So lastly, I wanna say, don't judge me, guys, by, you know, I wasn't creating content. I was just in a spot where people were filming me that didn't want to be there. It was just a whole lot of things that came in between. It wasn't definitely a good time. The past year has pretty much been reflecting. I wasn't in a good spot. Like me, I was in a good spot, but just my workspace and the people I was around just didn't fulfill what I needed. So I'm glad I get to be a part of the Huntsmen. So thank you everyone for getting to know me. And yeah, I'm excited for the season. Be on the lookout. It's your boy BOZE.